If you're working, you already have the keys to your success. It's your income. I want you to think about how hard you're working for your money. Now, consider if you're making the wisest choices with your money. Now, if you can decide whether or not you would like to have your money work for you, no matter how much you do make enough money to invest in yourself and invest for yourself. And I want to help you do that. And that is why I make these videos. Now, if you're familiar with the markets, everybody knows that you have to buy stocks to sell stocks. But I have to sell stocks first every day to add money to my account so I can buy more stocks. Hey, so looking at our charts today, we have some downward pressure and price action. Go ahead and zoom in a bit, get a closer look at our candles. And the question is this the beginning of a downward trend? So in case it is, we're going to go ahead and extend this trend line out a little bit further into our chart systems. So this is a possible zone of support. There are two other areas we would want to consider. We have a small area. We had some price action with some consolidation over about 5 days before we had a pretty strong downward move. So we're just going to go ahead and throw in a line here. We're going to add a drawing, add a line, and we're just going to make it straight across here. I'm going to put that there, and we're going to do another one here. Here we had a little bit more. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just call it 6. So we'll draw another line, add a drawing and a line, and we'll bring this straight across. So we have two areas in which price bounced or tended to stay around for 4 or 5 days. Then we have another area that was about 6 days. And then we have an intersection of the trend line up, which is a trend line of our higher lows. So the question is are we going to come down to this zone and bounce back? Are we going to cut through and go here? Will we bounce back off of our our higher low trend line? And then looking at volume, we don't have a great deal of volume on all this price action. It's quite low compared to, it's actually the lowest it's been in 3 months. So there's not a lot of bearish pressure. There's not a lot of people who are putting all of their money and their eggs into the bearish move. I've also found through my trading, Fridays seem to be a typically low day. It just seems that Friday seems to be a pretty frequent downward pressure as opposed to prices moving up. I wouldn't bet on that. I'll just keep paying attention to price action and make my decisions based strictly and solely on price action. Okay, so the first stock we're going to look at, it's the only stock that actually hit an actual sell alert today. And we'll zoom into this. And our sell alert triggered when price dropped below our slow moving average. And that's after a price alert yesterday from the same thing, but it happening a price crossed below our fast moving average. So we do indeed have a downward pressure continuation of this alert, the sell alert here. I have 16 books, which is 4 books of 4. So we're going to sell 1 book of 4 shares from this price action and the continuation. So we'll go up to 4. And we're going to see if it sells now. There's 97 more orders. Let's just go ahead and drop it down to 85.85. See if that goes any faster. It's not. So we will go market. And there we go. We sold 4 of those XLU at market. So those new to trading or watching my videos, here in the Active Trader, when you go to sell something or buy something, you can ask for a specific price. Just as you saw me do 2 other times, maybe they'll go, maybe they won't. You can see typically if we were to try to sell this at 85.87, there's already a countdown on the numbers of orders that are before me. And since I just want to move on to the next alert or the next stock that we need to look at, if I hit sell market, what sell market is, that sells or buy market, that either sells or buys at the middle of the range between the lowest ask price from a seller and the highest bid price of a buyer. So it tends to sell a little bit more fast or quickly than just asking specifically for a specific set price. So now we're going to look at Shopify. And we have continuation of yesterday's price trigger or price alert. So we're going to go ahead and sell 2 of our Shopify. Right now I have 2 books with 2 shares each. So we're going to sell 2 of our Shopify. See if it goes for $140.90, and we did. No orders at $140.90, so it went pretty quickly. So looking at our list from yesterday, we have Taiwan Semiconductor that we're going to take a look at. Let's zoom in. We currently have 4 shares, and that is 2 books of 2 shares each. This we've been watching for basically since, I'm going all the way back to July 17th. We've been looking at this for a month, just going back and forth, watching this and trying to buy and sell accordingly. We haven't had a lot of opportunities. You know, here we had price cross and move down, but then we had a reverse, and then it reversed again the next day, and we didn't buy because we were so far away. We were several days past the trigger, past our buy trigger. And I mean, it went opposite the next day after we had a buy alert, and we got the sell alert, and we did sell some shares there. And then here we get a buy alert, but then we have reverse of price, and price continued down the next day. Then it reversed again, but it was lower. Then we bought 3 days ago because price moved higher than the close 3 days ago. Then immediately it reversed, and then it continued down. However, it continued down, and that hit a alert for yesterday, which was a sell alert, but price moved up, so we didn't sell yesterday. We held on to our 4 shares. During this price action, we got a cross. We had the fast moving average cross the slow moving average, which that in itself is a pretty good sign. But now today we have price moving down. So we'll wait until Monday to see if we have price continuation in a downward move. If we do, then hopefully we'll be able to sell 2 shares of our Taiwan Semiconductor, or at least place a sell order. We won't be able to sell them. We already have a limit on 2, which we purchased back here right around 243, and our current price of the last 2 is at 243.41. So we'll be holding on to these either way. So the last one on our list, which was from 3 or 4 days ago, is Monster Energy Drink. We look at this every day, see how price is moving. We don't want to hold on to a stock if price moves lower than these low points here on these 2 moves. Fortunately for us, as price is moving down on many other stocks, Monster is going up. So what we're going to do is we are going to add a drawing. We're going to add a drawing from the close or the opening of this candle. We are going to add a box, and we are going to take it to that low price that was reached. Where did it go? Add a drawing, and we're going to go to that low point there and hit that. So if price breaks out above this zone in the next several days or weeks, however long it takes, it's possible that it might just go bounce back and forth like we did here. But if we have a breakout outside of this zone and a continuation the following day after that breakout, we'll go ahead and buy. And if it comes down and breaks out of this zone, we may sell. And that would be dependent on how strong the move was. If the move dropped all the way down to 60, which is where we purchased our 12 shares, and we still have six shares remaining, we won't be able to sell. So it depends on how strong the move is. So we are done with our sell alerts, and we are done with our sell list. So let's take a look at if we have any stocks that we are able to buy. With your help, I can reach more people. So if you could, please click those like, share, and subscribe buttons for me. Now we will take a look at our buy alerts and our buy lists and see what we've got. We do actually have 2 buy alerts that were triggered today. The first one we'll take a look at is Occidental Petroleum. It's one of Warren Buffett's favorite stocks. or was for a while. Unfortunately, Occidental Petroleum is lower than the 1 month slow moving average of price. We'll take a look at that quickly. 3 years and 1 month. So here we are. We are significantly lower than our slow moving average. So we typically do not buy anything unless there's a very strong move and unless we have news that would support an upward move. But we do not have news that will support an upward move. Donald Trump is trying to push our gas prices and energy prices lower. So when we have lower energy prices, Occidental Petroleum is not going to benefit. And as investors, we won't benefit. So we're definitely not going to be buying on this particular situation because we are substantially lower than our slow moving average on the 1 month chart. So we'll go back to our 3 month and 1 day. And we're going to move and take a look at our second and last sell alert that was triggered. And that is on Moody's. So it's a little busy, so we're going to go ahead and zoom in. You can see this is a stock that I day trade. So the original, if we go back 3 days, we had price cross. Well, actually, the day before, we had price go down, which set an alert. We did not have continuation. It moved back up the next day and also hit an alert as price moved back across the fast-moving average. We had continuation, so we bought, I believe we just bought 1 share 2 days ago. And then the very next day, we had a price alert to sell as price moved down back across. But eventually, as the day progressed, it went up, so we did not do anything. There wasn't anything to do because once we have an alert, we don't buy on the alerts. We wait until the next day to see if we have a continuation. We want price to tell us whether this is actually a strong move that may last for a day or 2 or 3 or even longer. As you can see, candles can just switch and alternate within 1 day, every other day, every 2 days, go up for a little bit and then just drop back down. Which is why I use price action as it crosses both the fast moving average or crosses the slow moving average, or as the fast moving average if it were to cross either down or up across the slow moving average. So we will wait till Monday to see if this is this price will continue down or if we're going to get a green candle and slowly grind up. So we're still looking at our list from several days ago. We have Delta Airlines and price action there. We had a cross 2 days ago. We had an alert. I did not truly consider this a true confirmation in price since price actually dropped, even though it was an upward overall trend for the day. It was still lower than our close the previous day, but we absolutely have continuation in price. So because we have a strong upward movement in price, continuation of the cross, and we have good volume here on our MACD, we are going to go ahead and max out on our Delta Airlines shares, which I purchased 12 shares. So that would be 4 books of 3. So we're going to go to our active trader. We have 12 shares at 60.22. And we got it at 60.22. And you can see if we zoom back out, or we come back here to the last 3 months, you can see Delta over the last 3 months has been somewhat of a rocky stock. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Hopefully this will go up for several days and we'll get some pretty good price moves before it turns around. That way when it turns around, we'll at least be able to sell a couple of shares at a profit. We'll keep our fingers crossed and move on to the next one, which also is from several days ago. And that is IWM. Zoom in here. Well, actually, we are lower than $1,000, so I have nothing else to purchase. I try to keep about $1,000 in for my day trading activities. There's not a lot of day trading happening today. Price is pretty stagnant, not going anywhere. I think people are waiting until the meeting that Trump is having with Putin ends, but by then the market is probably going to be closed, so we might see some after hours movement in the market. And in any case, however that meeting ends, if it ends good, there'll probably be a big gap up on Monday, and if it ends poorly, then there probably will be a huge gap down on Monday. So that is it for today. We'll zoom back out. We'll come back into our SPY, reset there. So now we are going to take a look at our results of our trading activities in reference to our profits. We didn't have too bad of a day. The move down today wasn't all that big, but it was just a very, very, very slow grind down. Not a lot of volatility today in the majority of the stocks that I own. But at any rate, we made, we'll just round it up to $162 in realized gains today. Our realized gains for the week are almost 900. They're at 895.67. And our portfolio to date, we are looking at 16.31%, which we are besting the Russell 2000. We're beating the S&P 500 by a little short of 6% now. We're still beating the NASDAQ by about 3.5%, and we're beating the Dow Jones by, we'll just round it to 10%. So we're still beating all the averages. We had a little downturn yesterday. We're a little bit more highly concentrated, the S&P 500. So we have bigger gains and we have bigger losses when the market's really moving. So everything is color coded. You see my account is the blue here. Next is the closest is NASDAQ, which is beating the S&P 500, which is both beating the Dow, and the last one is the Russell 2000. So there is another week down and done. You know, you can reach out in the comments. Let me know how your guys' weeks went. I hope that it was profitable, and if it wasn't profitable, you might want to consider following me and making some of these trades. Well, that's another profitable week down. I hope your week was profitable. If it wasn't, keep watching my videos. Please keep sharing my videos. If you have any questions, feel free, reach out and I'll answer them best I can, either in the next video or directly through comment section to you. Thank you and have an amazing rest of your day and weekend.